It is week 1 of high school football in the state of Arkansas. We've got lots of fun games coming up this Friday. We're going to start with Bentonville at Conway. I'm Cierra alongside Nate Olson from Scorebook Live. Nate, tell us about this game. I mean, 2 great teams going at it.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be like a playoff type atmosphere because you've got 2 7A teams, one from the Central, one from the West. One really kind of thing to look at here is that Bentonville has played a game, and they not only played one, but they played Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, who was a semifinalist last year. They kind of had a scratch and claw fight to get through that game. They scored over 50 points, but they gave up over 42. So this could be a shootout type game. A guy to keep in, when you're watching this, and some people that aren't even Conway fans might want to go to this game. Joey Sua, he's going to be a hog, 6'5", 315 pounds. The guy looks like he's ready to play in the SEC right now. He is a man, and that line at Bentonville is always pretty good. But with him on it, it's just even more dominant. He's so big. Josh Ficklin is a big, powerful running back, though he'll run behind them. And then Carter Nye is a quarterback that just came in this year. He played a little bit last year, but this is the first time as a regular starter for him. He's a junior, and he found a good target. They lost a really good receiver last year, but C.J. Brown has kind of emerged over 100 yards receiving last week. Then you flip the coin over to Conway. They've got a very good quarterback in Donovan Molo. And, unlike Nye, he's a veteran. He played last year as a sophomore, starred for them, was very, very good. Got Boogie Carr to hand the ball off to. Trying to find some more receivers. They lost a couple guys on the perimeter, but they'll plug somebody in. And with a Molo there, that's a big advantage having him. And then the thing that I think is what this is going to come down to defensively, I just told you how many points that Bentonville gave up. And last year it was a shootout type game. Conway had a really good defense last year, especially on the back end, some standout defensive backs. Some of those guys are gone, so how is that going to affect this game? I like Conway a lot with the veteran quarterback being at home. This is going to be an electric atmosphere, and it may help Bentonville a little bit that they played a game, but I really look for a good game and a tight game maybe going in the fourth quarter.
So it'd be fun with the Wampus Cats having lots of returning skill players coming back. All right, also moving on to another 2 great teams that are going at it as well. 2 private schools that have had some success in the past few years. Shiloh Christian versus Little Rock Christian. Tell us about that one.
This is an interesting quarterback battle because these 2 guys are different, but they're both very good. Walker White, and just found out that he is going to be at Arkansas this weekend. I guess he's going to stay over up there and go visit for the Cincinnati game. 6'3", 210, something like that. You see the guy, he looks a lot older than he is. I mean, last year was a sophomore, very, cut up guy, strong, and he can run the football. I think the thing last year as a sophomore, we saw him at Pulaski Academy early on, maybe not quite ready for the big stage. He had some issues in that game, and the whole team did. And then as the year went on and in the playoffs, he played really good, and he has done really well so far against Benton in the scrimmage. Saw some of the highlights in that. Carved up the Panthers pretty good in that game, and then threw for 4 touchdowns last week against Central. So he's ready to go, and he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. A pro style or a dual threat guy. He can run a little bit and he can throw it. Like I said, very athletic. And then Eli Wisdom on the other side on Shiloh Christian is a guy that he can throw the ball, but he likes to run it a lot, and he's done that so well that a lot of schools now are looking at him as other positions other than quarterback. He has a UCF offer, but look for him to get some other offers, maybe to play running back, receiver, or something like that. Very gifted, very fast guy. And the thing that I like about Shiloh's team is they're very physical. They've got a good offensive and defensive line, and that's why we think they're going to do very well in 5A. They play in the 5A West. Of course, Little Rock Christian got elevated to the 6A West. So in reading the preview of this game, both coaches feel like this is a challenge for both of them starting off the season because they're both really good programs, and I think they're both looking for a tough game here to prepare them. And this will, even though they're in different classes, this has like the feel of a playoff type game too, and it's the opener for both teams. So again, a really fun one for both fan bases.
Definitely a playoff vibe going on this Friday. And then moving over to the Bryant Hornets, a team who has gone to the playoffs many times, won 4 straight state championships, and they're being challenged from an out-of-state team this week in Denton Ryan out of the Lone Star Tate.
Well, I think the big thing for Bryant here is, they won 42 straight games against in-state opponents. They're a favorite to win a 5th straight, and I think they're going to be more dominant than they were last year. They had some close games. I don't know if they'll be as close this year in 7A. But I think the one thing that is kind of missing from their mystique is sort of the national attention. And, SB Live does a national poll or ranking. Right now, Bryant's not in that. But I think that last year, losing to Longview, Texas, if they'd won that game, they would have been. And I feel like this year, if they win this game, they might get in there by the end of the year, especially if they continue to beat everybody and they do it in a dominant fashion. By the time you're talking about a 5th straight state championship, that could sway, the people that put that together in our company to put them in the top 25. I would think certainly they'd be deserving of it if they went undefeated again. In the state of Arkansas, and they beat a team in Texas. But Ryan is good. They're a top 15 team in Texas. They've got athleticism all around, and they're big. Bryant's defense is going to have to step it up a notch. Thought they played pretty good against Benton, but they put it in cruise control a little bit in the second half. I think that they're going to have to play all 4 quarters, but they're big enough and fast enough that they can match up with a Texas team. Offensively, Jordan Walker's a sophomore. He looked really good against Benton, and that was a big test playing in War Memorial Stadium in front of 25,000 people your first game. This is a bigger test because you're in Shreveport at the Independence Bowl playing a Texas team. The defense is going to throw everything at him. I mean, they know that he's a rookie, and so they're going to throw stuff at him. But this guy, in talking to him after the game, impressed with his poise and composure, his maturity. He's wanted to be a Bryant Hornet and play at high school since he was 6 years old, and he showed that. So look for him. He may have some rough patches in that game, but he didn't have any in Benton. So it'll be interesting to see how he does, and he can lean on the running game with Conway and company, and we'll see how that goes. But I think defense is going to be a key. Need a couple takeaways to help the offense.
All right, and now going to our last game, North Little Rock versus Fayetteville. Both teams lost in week 0, so they're both looking to bounce back. It's going to be another tough one here too.
Yeah, this is a tough task for North Little Rock because we had them in our top 5. I mean, and why wouldn't you? They've been to the state finals 5 years in a row, then a semifinal. And if you remember last year, we were at Bryant and twice they had them on the ropes a little bit, and they couldn't quite do that knockout punch, but they were right there with them. And so you feel like they're going to be a contender for that conference title every year. They're going to match up with Bryant well, and they come out, and Little Rock Catholic, who moved from 7A to 6A, they talked about how, hey, we feel really good about our team and we're going to be good defensively, and they come out and prove it, and they win 23-6. And that kind of upset the whole apple cart because we didn't expect that, and we didn't expect them to lose like that. And I think you could talk to Randy Sandiver. He was not happy with any facet of that game. They did not play well, and were not, I think mentally executing and stuff like that. And Catholic really bothered him. So now you go 4 hours up the hill to play a Fayetteville team who just narrowly lost to a Cabot team. We think maybe Cabot and Fayetteville are better than we thought. And so now you've got to go up there facing an 0-2 record. If you come out of there with a loss, they went up there last year and played well, 14-7. They've got to be physical. They have got to dominate the line of scrimmage, and they've got to execute better on offense. And if they can do that, I mean, we're not writing them off by any means. We're not writing them off or hitting the panic button, and you shouldn't if you're a North Little Rock fan. But this is a pivotal game here. And you hate to say at the beginning of the year this is a must-win game, but I think as far as kind of righting the ship, you'll feel a lot better going down the hill if you win that one. If you don't, you still feel kind of upset, and the schedule's not going to get easier in playing in the 7A Central. So this is a big one for them.
Should be a fun one,
yes,
for sure.
Absolutely.
So lots of fun games on Friday night. Make sure to tune in to THV 11 to watch all those highlights on our Friday Night Blitz show.